Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got the sound system demo of the 2022 Ford Maverick Lariat and its 8-speaker B&O audio system. This is going to be an in-depth review. We're going to take a look at how the infotainment system works, take a look at audio adjustments, controls, inputs, speaker locations, then we're going to head out on the road and listen to these sample tracks while we're rolling, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end. I highly recommend wearing headphones while you watch so you can hear exactly what I'm hearing in my ears. Also, we've got Chris Brower in the passenger seat with us because this Maverick Lariat is provided to us by Jeff, service advisor here at Gene Buttman Ford in Ypsilanti. So thank you, Jeff, for letting us listen to your truck, drive it around a little bit. So let's get on with it. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a quick look. As I said, this is a top dog hybrid Lariat Maverick. So it's a little tucked into this parking spot here so that we can get some good shade for the sound system demo, but looking really nice here in the black. I always like driving the hybrid Mavericks because, as you may or may not know, we own one. Our XLT is way over there getting its oil changed here at Gene Buttman. So we got this opportunity. Oh look, he's even got the hitch on there. I wonder if he does any towing. I'll have to ask him about that. But either way, if you do want to see more on the Maverick, we've got tons of videos on our long-term Maverick and a few of the pressers that we've driven as well. So I'll put the links to all of those in the description. Now, I always do these tests with lossless, uncompressed WAV files on a USB stick plugged directly into the system, and high-quality Roland binaural microphones in both of my ears, giving you the most realistic audio system demo on YouTube. We also do the test with the sound settings set to their factory defaults. Let's take a look at those now. This is a little bit more updated screen, or I shouldn't say updated, but higher quality screen than you get in the lower trim Mavericks. A little bit higher resolution, some stronger contrasts as well. You can see on the home screen, nice animations, things flow a little bit more. And I gotta say the responsiveness is quite a bit better than the system in our XLT as well. We actually have to go over to settings for sound. And you're rated with treble, mid-range, and bass. Let's go through those now. Touchscreen seems to be having some issues. Below that, you've got adjustment for front, rear, left, right, fader, and balance. Speed compensated volume mode, so as you get going faster on the road, the volume picks up to make up for road, engine, and wind noise. And then a sound mode as well. To demonstrate that, I'm actually going to skip backward here in the song so we can hear the same music. You've got sound mode stereo and surround. So stereo is going to give you more of a linear sound, more true to recording. Surround is going to make it feel a little bit more artificial, a little bit more echoey, but feel like it's coming more around you. So let's go through both of those. Stereo is going to give you a little bit higher quality, so I'm going to stick with that, but sometimes when I'm driving cars with a stereo surround mode, I like it for a little bit easier listening. And that is it for your sound settings. Let's skip on to the next track. For audio adjustments here in the Maverick, you've got your standard volume knob right here. Nice physical knob, easy to reach for both the driver and the passenger. Decent clicks. You also have volume on the left side of the steering wheel, button form. For track selection, you've got physical controls right here. You can use the touch screen if you're on the right menu. You can use this tuner knob, cycle through some tracks, and you've got controls on the right side of the wheel. I'm not a huge fan when volume and tracks are on different sides of the steering wheel because you gotta use different hands, but that's where they're in the Maverick. For audio inputs in the Maverick Lariat, you got your standard AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio, Bluetooth, USB-A and USB-C ports, and support for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And I can't remember if you can do wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in this one. I'll have to check. I'll put down in the screen whether it's supported or not. Unlike when we have a press car in here, we don't have any sort of window sticker or anything like that to quickly reference. Speaker locations. As I said, this is an 8-speaker system. The base Mavericks get 6 speakers, so the main 2 differences are a center, mid-range right there, and a subwoofer. But let's go through all 8 of them. Starting in the door, you've got a B&O branded mid-range woofer there, 1, tweeter 2, 3, 4 on the other side, that 5 there, 6, 7 still back there in the C-pillars behind the seats, and then 8 subwoofer right here behind the seats. Okay, that's all our static stuff, so let's keep this music going and we'll get out on the road. Before we actually start the rest of the sound test, I want to get this Maverick up to highway speeds and hear what it sounds like at highway speeds, because the Lariat is supposed to have a little bit more sound deadening, a sound isolating or acoustic windshield, and obviously this is a hybrid as well, so the engine itself may be a little bit more refined. It's pretty quiet.
It's really quiet. You don't even hear the engine. And there's very minimal wind noise.
Yeah.
It's a premium vehicle right here.
It really is. Yeah, that's quite a bit quieter than our Maverick. Mostly the wind noise, wind and the road noise. We do have the all-terrains on ours. Not that they're super aggressive all-terrains, but those might make a little bit more noise as well. Yeah. Maybe we'll have to hit up Bridgestone and get some cheaper ones, or some more like quieter ones. Yeah. Anyway, back to the music. example of a system that's going to sound pretty darn good for some types of music, but then really fall on its face in other types of music. This song is a really good example of that. Some of the songs we heard earlier, more simple. They've got the highs, the lows, and this system can hit pretty hard. That subwoofer does a good job. You've got the tweeters bouncing right off the windshield. But when you turn up something more complex like this, something that needs to get really busy in the mid-ranges, that's where this system gets muddy. And the instruments, the guitar, the mid-range drum hits don't come through very clearly. The system isn't super great at delineating those sounds, and I'm kind of curious how much more premium these speakers are in the doors than the speakers in the XLT, because they really don't sound all that different. Obviously, the subwoofer is making a huge difference, and especially if you're using surround mode, you're going to get a little bit more benefit from that center. But listening to your more complex music, turning it up really high, you're going to be a little bit disappointed with the B&O system here in the Mav. Speaking of bass, though, this song we're going to turn the bass all the way up and see what we're able to get out of that subwoofer. And that's really good. I'm getting some mirror shakeage up here, a little bit of mirror shakeage outside. It's not exactly rattling my bones, but I'd rather have a controlled, strong bass than something like an FCA product that just rattles really hard and doesn't actually sound good. My thoughts on the 8-speaker B&O system here in the Ford Maverick. It makes sense for the premium system. You gotta remember, at the end of the day, this is not an expensive car. Even in the top trim Lariat model here, it's built at a price point. So it does sound a very decided step and a half up from the XLT system, of which I'm very similar. But audiophiles are not going to be particularly impressed. The two biggest missteps in the system, from what I can tell, is one, the messiness in the more complex music coming from those mid-ranges, and two, you might have noticed a little bit there in that song and some earlier as well, that when you have it turned really high up and the bass starts coming in, the rest of the music does get a little bit softer. So there is a power issue when it comes to this system, that it is having trouble kind of playing all the music as loud as possible. So overall, certain songs are going to sound B's here, but this is getting a C. It's a C+. It's pretty decent. I think a lot of music's going to sound fine, but at the end of the day, it's definitely a C system, not quite hitting up toward the B's. But quite a lot better than the D system in the Maverick XLT. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the Maverick, check the link in the description, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.